sort of kind of boring, to be honest.
Wait. Did I just hear the B word as soon as I joined? All right, so hello everyone. Welcome to Little Shy live stream reviews. We just witnessed Going to Seed. What'd you guys think?
Santa's not real.
Yeah.
That's basically the whole point.
The
So-
secret seeding is basically Farm Santa.
Yeah. So this is the basic premise here. Go over really quickly is there's like this mythical. Actually, they call it an Earth spirit, which is interesting. There's a little bit of lore here. They call it two different names. They call it the Great Confluence and the Great Seedling. I don't know if that was an error or not, but I think it was mostly called the Great Seedling. So yeah, apparently there's this like Santa like mythical creature that the harvest ponies have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so the whole premise is kind of a low-key mystery episode where you're trying to figure out what the seedling is or if it's even real and all that. And I personally didn't see the big reveal happen at the end. I didn't see it coming. Did you guys?
No, I thought they would reveal that the Great Seedling, quote unquote, was real and everything. But but about halfway through, is like when Big Mac was still tired, it's like, yep, he's the one who's doing this.
Wait, you thought it was Big Mac?
Yeah,
I actually didn't thought it was
he-
Big Mac because like he's been so busy because of course I like the simple explanation of like him preparing like the whole harvesting thing planned, like that really didn't lead into any speculation that he was the seedling.
Yeah,
I did, because
I was
Applejack would be just as tired because she works just as much as Big Mac does.
well, except for here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Where they spend literally half of the
I
day
honestly
just
thought-
like arguing.
I thought it was gonna be like Goldie Delicious.
Yeah, well, that's the red herring. I thought that was actually pretty well crafted. How they really make you think there's more going on, and then even if you kind of doubt that, even if you see through the red herring and think, oh, it's probably something else. Like I didn't think of Big Mac, so that this episode really surprised me, and I liked it a lot for that.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of great things.
I honestly like how well they took. I didn't like how well Applejack and Apple Bloom didn't take too well. Like it's Big Mac. Like I thought they would argue about it or something like that.
Well, no, at the end, okay, at the very end, we do end with like the carrots are all lined up. So there's like I don't know if I should put the screenshots or not, but like the carrots are all lined up. So maybe there is something else out there.
I guess maybe.
I don't know. All right, I'm gonna not skip ahead.
Big Mac's not the element of honesty.
No, Big Mac didn't know he was doing it. So
Yeah,
there were a lot.
sure
This was a great sister episode. I think. I thought it was really adorable how Applejack started off
Especially
all
near the
cynical.
end.
She starts off all cynical and doubtful, and then she becomes like a kid again, and so much so that we actually have the flashback of her as a kid again. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we get to see the parents.
The parents.
How do you feel about the parents, Jessica?
Okay, first of all, I saw this episode when it was leaked. So when I first saw the parents, I stopped. I paused the episode just to take it in all in. I was like, "Oh my god, they're actually doing this."
Yeah.
I can't believe that they're actually doing this because I was thinking, okay, so they got Granny Smith. She looks like what she looked like in The Perfect Pair, but you wouldn't think that they would go the far as adding Applejack's parents in. Just as they show Bright Mac and Big Mac, I was like, "Oh my god, they're actually doing this. They're actually showing the parents for once."
Were you disappointed when it was just a brief flashback?
No.
Okay.
No, I was really happy. I was happy that they actually gave recognition to the parents for once.
Yeah, it was a good way.
Besides
It was a good way of like showing them again without actually making it about them.
I also love seeing Pear Butter with baby Apple Bloom. That was adorable. And there's a little detail where she has a buttercup in her behind her ear. Like that was so cute. I love it.
Mhm.
I'm still hoping for another explanation. Like I'm wondering if something's gonna happen later on in the season.
Yeah,
Well, that's the thing.
but
This episode made me feel like Applejack in the sense I was hoping the Great Seedling was real. I knew it wasn't going to be, but I was hoping it would be real. And so that I don't know. I felt like I had a connection with Applejack and the hope she had there. It was kind of funny.
Down to earth, pony, little shy FIM.
No, I'm talking about like the narrative they were telling here. So
But
when it comes down to it, a lot of the episode was just kind of like montages, and it was kind of the red herring over and over. Is like they kept coming back to what's her name? What's her name?
Golden Delicious.
Yeah, Goldie
Delicious.
Delicious. Yeah. I've got like multiple screenshots here. If I just scrub through them of like Applejack just, I don't have them on screen, but of Applejack just like pointing at her because she's constantly accusing her of being behind this.
Yeah.
So that,
Like I said, I thought she was gonna be the one.
yeah, the
that
red
all
herring was a
behind this.
little bit too heavy-handed. They could have been more sneaky with that.
Yeah. It was a pretty obvious red herring.
So there was a couple jokes. I'm not even sure were jokes in here. There was a lot of subtle humor. I was surprised. Well, not so subtle was Granny says, "Get back to bucking your own selves." And I wonder if they know what they're doing. She just told them to go buck themselves.
The family shoot.
But one of the more subtle jokes I was going to mention, the rooster crow. Did you guys catch that joke?
the rooster.
No.
It was so subtle. Okay, so they had the rooster crow 2 separate occasions, and then on the third time, of course, 3 is the magic number for a punchline. Applejack and Apple Bloom wake up before the rooster crows and like startles it, and it's this very subtle moment, but it had build up. You know, it was like constructed like a joke, but it was so subtle, it's so easy to miss. I love little things
I
like
have
that.
to go back and see that.
Joke theory.
Like, you know, when a joke is so obvious, it hits you over the head, and it's like, okay, very funny. You know, I don't like jokes like that, but when it's subtle, when it's thoughtful, you know, I don't know, little things like that I like. How do we feel about the booby traps? Isn't that illegal and dangerous? What is this show teaching our children?
Oh, it's their
Yes.
farm, so
Death
Child
traps
labor
all
laws.
over your house. Oh my, yes, it's like Home
Animal
Alone.
abuse.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's illegal to set up booby traps. I guess Equestria's laws are different.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's illegal to have child labor like
Not
that.
true. No, if it's family, if it's family, it's legal.
If it's
It's true.
It's family. Oh yeah, sure, that makes it all better.
Hey, maybe Apple Bloom gets
Taking
an
advantage
allowance.
of your.
She might get an allowance. She might get paid.
So,
It's
okay.
actually Big Mac who should be getting the big money, right?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the thing I was asking. Why was he tired?
Well, yeah. No, that was another joke. They kept showing his map and his schedule and how it was organized. And throughout the episode, it was continually changing, where he would have more and
Where
more
he-
of the map,
yeah,
and
he
he would
had
become more and
more.
more tired. And that's another
Yeah.
little sort of subtle joke. I mean, it's not really subtle; it's on the screen, obviously. But
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny.
Well, but like at the start, like
And
when the
that's also
episodes-
like the kicker for like where I really didn't suggest that Big Mac would be the seedling.
Yeah, same
you
here.
know. So
I thought Big Mac's role was comic relief. You know, I didn't think he was
Yeah.
actually part of the mystery here. I thought that was actually really well
it's just
done.
Apple. It's basically Apple Buck season for him.
Yeah, that's the impression.
yeah.
Apple Buck season 2.
I got.
Yep, basically that.
Well, wait, is there a parallel there where it's like the opposite? Instead of being too stubborn to stop working, Applejack's kind of too stubborn to start working? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then like everyone got annoyed when she started getting really into the trapping and stuff.
I thought it was adorable seeing Applejack act like a child again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I liked
Yeah.
it.
Reminds me of me as well.
We've got some nice faces in this episode, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah, and backgrounds. This one right here on screen is my favorite
Yeah.
background, like definitely of the season, but one of the show.
The one
maybe.
where they're on the tree.
Yeah,
like-
it's
Yeah, that-
composition,
that's,
the
like,
colors,
really
everything.
nice.
Yeah, the
Yeah, it's
detail.
like really
So-
nice.
A little error that I saw is like, how much trees does the Applejack family own, and how much like just barren landscape do they own?
I think
Because
it-
you
yeah.
saw like,
I think
you
it's kind of
saw,
a
like-
mystery.
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
It's a cartoon. Like they don't actually specifically have a map of how big Sweet Apple Acres is. I don't think. Oh,
yeah,
there was
because
this
it
this
seems
joke.
like they're just loaded.
This joke with the smash cut. Don't worry, Apple Bloom. I'll keep an eye out for him, and then smash cut to her sleeping. I love that.
yeah. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
me too.
I'm glad we got a break from the Friendship University these
Oh,
past few
yes.
episodes.
Oh yes, I'm
Well,
so
we did
happy.
mention
This
that-
this
yeah.
feels like a good classic episode. You know, a good sister episode, a good kind of a mystery. I love this episode.
I feel like this could actually be a season 1 episode. That's how good it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
except it has all the benefits of being a newer episode, like better animation, better backgrounds, and you know everything is just better production wise.
Mhm.
But the story does feel like more of a classic episode. Like Apple Bloom doesn't even need a cutie mark here. She could just be a blank flank again, and this episode would still work.
Yep.
That's exactly what I was saying. I'm like, how old is Apple Bloom again? Because she's kind of acting. It reminded me of the Zakora episode where she's like, "I'm gonna go figure out what this Zakora person is. I'm gonna go figure out what this thing
Yeah.
is."
I wonder if this is an older episode they dug up and decided to make in season 9. Like maybe this was going to be an older episode. It kind of feels like it to me.
Someone made a parody of the Zecora episode. That's basically what happened.
Anyway, any last remarks before we jump into individual thoughts and ratings?
I like the moral.
Yeah.
About like even though you're a grown up, you can still have a moment to be acting like a child again.
You know, the moral kind of seems to go both ways, where that's absolutely true, but also when you're an adult, you kind of have to take work seriously. Like it kind of juggles both. I think rather well.
I mean, you can balance being a grown up, but there are other times when you can. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Look at the Brony fandom.
Oh man, there's so many. Taco just shared a funny picture of like sleeping, and there's
like
so many screenshots I missed.
Also,
why blueberry syrup? Shouldn't it be apple
or pear butter?
Oh.
You had to go there, didn't you?
Anyway, let's jump into individual thoughts and ratings. But before we do, I want to welcome to Space Pony and Taco Bite. They're new this week, so hello everyone. Hello guys.
Taco Bite was here last week.
Wait, who was?
Taco was here last week.
Taco's new. No, I mean Taco Bite. I'm sorry. Yes, we got 2 tacos now.
Yeah, we got two tacos in this.
All right, so taco number 1. You want to start us off with thoughts and rating?
Which one's that one?
Which taco?
You're taco number 1 because you were here first. You were here first.
Not you, Taco Bite.
Okay.
Oh, so me.
I love my joke. I wanted both of you here just for that joke.
So one thing I'd also like to point out, just like overall, is being in a situation where like I've made tradition to watch episodes like by myself and all downstairs in the living room every week, and this is basically the first time I've watched an episode live with a group of people. And watching it with a group of people makes you notice a lot of different things, and notice a lot more different details, and that's why like I took notes so I'd have something to discuss. I basically just for some reason it kind of reminded me, well, the one scene with like believing is reminding me of the SpongeBob movie scene where like it's just trying to get Patrick and SpongeBob to believe, but that's something different. How do I summarize this episode? As I said, it seems like a season 1 episode. It's got that kind of idea to it, but also just continuity wise, you're like, wait, so is Apple Bloom like obviously everyone has those moments where they kind of break out from maturity and stuff, but like, and with Applejack it makes more sense because she's an adult, but with Apple Bloom it's not like you very rarely go back like. I can't word things well. Yeah, it just feels like an older episode, which isn't really that bad, but is this where I give the number rating?
Sure, out of 10.
Out of 10, out of 10, I would give this of people leaving this call out of 10. And I'd say an 8. 7.5.
Yeah.
7.5.
Oh, wait, pick one, 7.5 or 8?
7.5.
All right, 7.5 from taco number 1. The Space Pony, what'd you think?
Okay, one thing I found out, there's just a lot of crazy mouths in this episode that it has a lot of crazy faces.
Facial expressions.
I really appreciate the fun sister dynamic at the end. It's really, I think that kind of wraps up the whole episode for me. I kind of find Goldie Delicious annoying after a while. I mean, just count the number of times the Great Ceiling has been said in this episode. Parents, of course, parents. I think Jessica can go on about it for a while. But I guess having them raise expectations of the Great Ceiling, and we still don't get to see it. It's kind of this episode does kind of feel like season 1, but in my opinion, I not a fan of season 1 episodes. So I will give this like 5.5 out of 10.
Ooh, all right.
Ooh.
Can't
Okay.
criticize, but I would. All right, whatever.
It's still a good episode.
It's hey, it's your opinion.
Hojo, what'd you think?
Okay. I, on the other hand, love this episode. This was actually a very pleasant episode. I'm going to probably rewatch this later this week. Man, from like the beginning where they're just like where they're just like, oh, Santa's not real, to like, and then the almost twist ending. I kind of foresaw it coming, but a lot of people didn't. And then like, it just felt like a pleasant episode. I don't really have any more words than that to say, so I'm actually just going to give it an 8.5.
All right, 8.5 from Hojo. Jessica, what did you think?
Oh, great. Okay, here's my thoughts. Overall, I thought this episode was okay. Seeing Apple Bloom and Applejack having some sister bonding was really adorable, especially the fact that I have a sister. This is pretty relatable to me. I guess the Great Seedling, the whole tale of it does sound interesting, especially when they show what the Great Seedling looks like. I mean, I swear there's gonna be fan art of the Great Seedling after this. But as I said before, I saw the episode when it was leaked, so this is my second time seeing the episode, and it's still an okay episode. I still like the Space Bunny mentioned. Golden Delicious and Granny Smith were kind of annoying in this episode. Yeah, but they didn't ruin it for me. There's so many other things that I really liked about this episode, especially the flashback with the parents. I'm a huge fan of The Perfect Pair, for those who don't know. So I just love seeing the parents again, and I hope that they make more appearances in the season. Probably not, but I loved seeing them in this episode, and just this episode was just enjoyable to me. I probably won't watch it a lot, but it's just an enjoyable episode to watch. So probably give it like a 7 out of 10.
Ooh, all right, 7 out of 10 from Jessica. I'm next, but I'll wrap things up. So we're gonna jump down to Sonic Crew. What did you think?
Okay, so like probably right around halfway through the episode, I thought it was like the simple kind of like, the Santa Claus is not real type of plot, going on. But as like we kept on discussing, like post episode, like, because I was like kind of looking at it in a different direction to what everybody else was looking at, like the idea of like Applejack be acting like a kid again and hanging out with Apple Bloom, and like the simple moral where it's like, don't be too much, you can't be too much of an adult, you can bounce between things and like that between a kid and adult. And other things like, we got some like good nice jokes here and there, and like some nice faces here and there. And of course, like we discussed earlier, like the big reveal that Big Mac was like acting as a seedling, which is actually was a kind of a surprise to me, because like I was not expecting him to be the seedling, because I thought he was just, because of all the tiredness that he's been throughout for the episodes, just because he's been working on this whole thing. I forgot what they were calling it, but I have not much to say about it. Otherwise, it's a nice episode. Everybody else is saying like this is a season 1 episode. I would say this would be a good episode, probably post season, like before season 6, I'd say, or even before season 8, at least before like the whole school thing went on, in my opinion. So, but anyways, I'm gonna give this a 8 out of 10.
All right, nice. 8 from Sonic. Taco Bite, what'd you think?
I can't really add anything that hasn't already been said. So the only thing I can really say is they ate pancakes every morning, and I'm wondering if that's the only thing they eat every morning. Other than that, 8 out of 10.
All right, another 8. All right, so
I kind of feel bad for my low score.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Pancakes.
All right, I suppose it's my turn.
Pump it up to 6.
So I like this episode a lot. In case it's not obvious, I think I mentioned all the main points. Like again, Applejack being like a kid again was adorable, and the fact we got like a classic sister episode was great. I'm so happy it's not like a school episode or what else do we have? Or even like the castle I'm still not even used to yet. I missed the library. So I like these classic stories where it all takes place on the farm, and yet it doesn't feel like a bottle episode where they just threw it on the farm to save money. Like they have all these newer backgrounds. Of course, someone mentioned all the faces. The funny faces are usually a sign of like more money going into the production budget where they can, do more like that. And again, the storyboarding looks pretty good. Just going through screenshots, even now, there's the way it's the composition and the way it's all set up. So yeah, this seemed like a well-produced episode, but also a lot of funny moments, which is also important. And then also on top of that, I like the story overall. I wouldn't say the story overall was like one of my favorites. Like it's a pretty simple, Santa Claus isn't real sort of episode. But I thought the red herring was genius. I did not see Big Mac coming. I did not think it would be him at all. So that was when that happened, I was like, oh, this episode is amazing. It fooled me. Because throughout the episode, I'm like trying to figure it out. Like I'm treating it like a mystery episode and trying to figure out where it's gonna go. And
it's like Sparkle 7.
Yeah, it threw me for a loop. So that's always a good sign for an episode. Usually the show's kind of predictable, and I didn't predict it, so that's good in my book. And again, lots of funny moments, little jokes here and there. I think I mentioned. I don't have a whole lot of notes. Mostly just like the note I mentioned. Like I think they might have called the Great Seedling the Great Confluence by accident in the episode once. And that confused me. But since they only called it that once, I think it's actually called the Great Seedling. But whatever, not a big deal. That'd be a ding if I was making a video, but otherwise doesn't ruin the episode. So yeah, lots of great moments. I love the episode. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
I think the Great Confluence was the whole thing with like the bucking up the tree thing. Or something.
You're right. But not at like one point they call him the Great Confluence, and that's what confused me.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and calculate our average. So our average for the Little Shy live stream for going to seed is a 7.5, which we round up to the nearest whole to be an 8.
Wow. Yay, that's pretty much the average of the entire episode.
Yeah. All right, thank you everyone so much for stopping by. We try to do these live reviews every week as soon as the credits roll. Hope to see you next time. And once again, thank you to our new folks. We have, there's actually a few new people in the group now, but just joining us today is the Space Pony and Taco Bite, so thanks again for stopping by. And to everyone else, see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.